Hi all, I'm Shauna Blake. I am your instructor for Speech 1113. This is an online summer speech course, so it'll be an 8-week course. This video is just sort of a welcome video to say welcome to the class. I'm excited that you're taking this class with me this summer, and to kind of go over the syllabus and a little the learning contract, which I'll talk about, and then to go over sort of week 1, like what's going to be expected and kind of how to navigate the course in general across Blackboard. So the first thing I want to go over is the syllabus. First, I'll show you where to find it in Blackboard. So if you're looking at your screen, you'll be here. This is the welcome screen, sort of. This is what you'll see when you log in. When you go to it, you're going to want to really look over here. It says welcome, start working, calendar, discuss, collaborate, etc. You're going to want to look at syllabus first of all. Click on syllabus, and here it will be. You can pull up this part right here, and it'll pull up in a Word document to show you the syllabus itself. So some of these things you'll already know, but I did want to kind of quickly go over. This is a summer course, Intro to Speech Communication. It's a basic speech course. It is completely online, so you'll never have to come specifically to campus for anything. My name is Shauna Blake. This is my email, sjblake@carlalbert.edu. My office is located in the Ollie Center for Academic Excellence, 1305 on campus. If you ever are on campus and need to see me, which you'll probably have to schedule that out because I may not be here very often over the summer, just sort of depends. The best way to get a hold of me is going to be email. You can call my office, but I'm probably going to get that email notification on my phone and be able to respond to that faster than to wait for me to get to my office and check my voicemail. So my office hours, again, if you need to meet with me in person, just contact me via email and we can figure that out. So one thing that you will need is going to be, you're going to need a textbook for this online class, and this is what it is going to look like. It's Communication Principles for a Lifetime, the 6th edition, and that information about the ISBN number and sort of who the authors are and all that is in the syllabus that I was just showing you. So, syllabus. That's the only book you'll need. So it's a little bit of an older edition, so hopefully it is cheaper. I'm not sure exactly how much it's going to cost. So general education outcomes, those sorts of things, you kind of know. Okay, so some of this that you are going to want to hear about here are going to be like sort of what's going to be expected for the course, right? So you want to know that, first of all, this is a solely online course, so you will absolutely need access to a computer, and you will also need access to some sort of camera technology because you will have to record your speeches and upload them. So you'll need access to the internet every day. That's really important for you to be able to do reading responses and discussion posts with your classmates. You'll also need access to a camera. Like I said, you have to have a video camera or a phone camera that will upload to YouTube. So you will have to access YouTube also, so you need to get a YouTube account. And I can post something for anyone that needs it on kind of how to get a YouTube account. It is free, but you will need an account to be able to upload photos, videos to YouTube so that I can access them. So each speech will be recorded and sent to me. So you cannot complete the course without access to a camera of some sort. It doesn't have to be super fancy high quality. It just has to be able to, I can see and hear you. Okay, so another thing to know about our speeches. So these will be video recorded and are due throughout the 8-week class. I will have deadlines, due dates posted on a calendar that you will have to follow. So if it's every day it's late, it is a 10-point penalty. So the best you could do would be a 90 if you're a day late. The best you could do would be an 80 if you're 2 days late, etc. This is really, really important. If a speech is not presented, you will not be able to pass the class. So you do have to complete all 3 of the major speeches in order to pass the class. So there will be a total of 3 major speeches that you'll have to complete. So this is also really important, and it is all in the syllabus, but I kind of want to talk through it just so that we're clear on what's going on. So procedures for speeches. How are you going to get your grade in the speech class? Well, you have to practice public speaking skills. So you're required to find an audience for your informative, persuasive, and demonstrative speeches of at least 10 people. So that's going to be important for you to know. You're going to have to go out and wrangle your own audience because we're not in a classroom. You don't have a built-in audience, so you have to find your own audience. Because if you just talked into a camera by yourself and sent it to me, that wouldn't really be public speaking because you would just be speaking to the camera. So you need to have your own audience. So all persons present in order to be counted as an audience member must be human. Trust me, I've had people try to slip dogs and cats in there as audience members, and while they're wonderful and I love them, they do not count as an audience member. And they must be at least 10 years old. So babies and toddlers, people who really couldn't pay attention and comprehend a collegiate level speech, will not be counted as audience members. So you will need them to be at least 10 years old. So how you're going to do that is each speech must be video recorded in front of a live audience. So you should put your camera kind of in the back of the room facing towards you so that I can see the audience, the back of the audience, the front of you. Or you can pan the audience before and after your speech. So maybe you would say, okay, here's my audience, here's my 10 people, and then flip the camera back to you, and I can see you only, and then here they are still. They didn't leave. So that's how I need to be able to see and count all of the audience members in order to count them. So the policy is that there should be at least 10 people. There are deductions made in the event you cannot meet the 10 audience member maximum. So for 9 to 10, that's fine. If you have 9 or 10 people, that's okay. If you have 8 or 7 people, then it's 1 point off for every person shy of 10. So for example, if you have 7 people, then you would have to take 3 points off because you're 3 shy of 10. For 6 to 5 audience members, there's a 2-point deduction for each person short of 10 people. So that means if you have 5 people, then that's 10 points off your total speech. I hope that makes sense because it's 2 points per person short of 10. For 4 audience members, there's a 3-point deduction for each person. So that's 6 times 3, that's 18 points off of your speech. And if you have less than 4, then that just won't count. You have to have at least 4 people because, again, this is a public speaking course. You don't really know if you can speak in public if you don't have any audience members there to be the public. So that is really important to know that you have to have an audience. So what I suggest would be contacting maybe a local church group or a local business of some sort, or maybe a group that you are a part of. If you're a part of any kind of campus group or community group, maybe a boys club or a girls club, some sort of community group that you can ask if you can maybe do a speech in front of them before their meeting or after their meeting or something like that, because it would really be best in a public setting, not in a home. So you want to be able to go and find either a class or a group, like I said, a church group, a community group, anything like that, that you can see if they will allow you 5 to 7 minutes of their time before or after a meeting might be a good idea. So keep that in mind. You will have to wrangle an audience 3 separate times over the course of this 8 weeks. And those due dates will be on the course calendar, so you will know in advance when you'll need those by. So you'll know when the due date is. That will give you a good opportunity to be able to find people within that window. So again, delivering them, you will need to upload the video via YouTube and be sure to set that to public view so that I can access it. Excuse me. And I'll put some more details on how to do that, like I said. Okay, so how do you get a grade in this class? All right, so it's a speech course, but it's an introduction to communication course, really. So there will be some communication theory stuff in addition to speeches and public speaking information. So it's kind of a little bit of both. So you can see on the syllabus, it has kind of a grade scale here. So reading responses are 10% of your grade. So a reading response will be every week. We will have reading that you'll have to do out of this wonderful Communication Principles for a Lifetime book. So you'll have to read a chapter. And then you'll have to write some sort of response to that chapter. So that's going to be like the major takeaways, the things that you found to be the most interesting or the most important. And you want to kind of relate those to your real life or back to a television show or back to an article that you read, something that's kind of interesting that makes you think of it, and kind of give a response to how you feel about the material. So it's not just summarizing what you've read, because we've all read it. So it's not just that, but it's going to be that plus some of your own thoughts and opinions. I hope that makes sense. And I hope after doing one or two, it will kind of make more sense. And there's a detailed section as far as word count and things like that in the reading response assignment. So reading response will be 10%. Discussion posts will be 10%. So that's going to be once you post your reading response, those are always going to be due on Sundays at midnight. Then you are going to go and read some of your other classmates and respond to at least 3 of those. So you want to kind of have some conversations. Oh, I agree with you here. I disagree with you here. Have some conversation, not just, yep, nope. It's going to be something that makes you think of it and kind of have some sort of response that's meaningful to them. So it seems like tedious work. I understand that. But since we are not face-to-face and we can't kind of have conversations in class, we've got to supplement through responding to each other's writings. So that's what will be another 10% of your class grade. Your informative speech will be 10%. Your persuasive speech will be 15%. That one's a little bit more in depth. That's a little bit more, it's a little longer, and it's a little more research involved in a persuasive speech, a little bit more. Demonstrative speech will be 10%. That's where you teach us how to do something. It's like an informative, but more specific kind. Participation / other is 13%, and that's really going to be things like if you have to you'll have to turn in outlines prior to your speech that I can kind of edit, and you can kind of do some peer review for your classmates. That will be things like there will be some short quizzes that we'll have to take. That will be things like Flipgrid is something I'm going to talk to you about in a little bit. You may have some of those responses to do. So other is really going to kind of be participation in general of doing all the other little assignments that don't fall into one of those other things. And then the last 4 pieces of your grade will be learning assignments. And those can be found on the learning contract, which is something that I want to talk to you about in just a little bit. But I want to kind of finish going over the syllabus first. So student evaluation is going to be 90 to 100 is an A. That's typical. 80, 89 is a B. Everything is weighted by what I just told you about. So my grading policies, grades will be posted on Blackboard. I won't discuss grades via email. So if you have any questions, you'll need to schedule a phone call with me to talk about a specific grade if that's something that comes up. So my makeup policy, you're expected to post all projects and speeches at the specified date and time. So there is a course calendar, so you'll know far in advance when everything is due. Each assignment has a 12-hour grace period directly after the original due date. So for example, if the assignment is due at Sunday at midnight, like a reading response, you actually technically have until Monday at noon, and I'm not going to knock any points off. So you have a little bit of a window there because I know things happen, you forget, or your computer glitches out, or something goes wrong. So you do have a 12-hour window where I'm not going to knock any points off. Because of that, I'm not going to take anything late. So that's when it's due. You know in advance. You have a 12-hour window for anything if anything goes wrong. Now, if something major in your life happens, contact me, let me know, and we can work something out. But just a typical, like, I forgot, I'm not going to take it after that 12-hour window because that's when it's due. Speeches, like I said, if you're late on a speech, it's 10 points a day that don't get it. So if it's due Thursday at midnight, then if I don't get it by Friday at noon, then it's going to be late. 10 points. And if I get it Saturday, that's going to be late. 10 more points. So every day that it's not posted to me, that is going to be at least 10 points, a full letter grade off. So expectations, some other things, participation in Blackboard discussion, that's really important to make sure that you are talking to each other kind of about the material. Like I said, because we're not face-to-face, you'll have to be able to do that online by writing to each other. Attendance, we're not meeting in person, but you will need to get online a lot. You'll need to log into that Blackboard several times a week to make sure that you're moderating your own reading response thread. So if someone asks you a question, you need to be able to respond to them in a timely manner. If you need to do that, everything needs to be turned in early. So I strongly recommend that you work on stuff early instead of waiting the day that it's due to start on it in case something comes up. So those are some of the major things for speeches. Those are sort of like the major important parts of the syllabus. So let's go look at this learning contract, because that's going to be important for you to know about, because that's a big chunk of your grade as well. So if you go back to start working, this is going to be important. This is week 1. So everything, all of your modules will be week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. And everything that's due within that week will be within that folder. So learning contract is right here. So you're going to click on this learning contract. It's going to pull up. And so this is going to be a big part of your grade as well. So you're going to have 4 learning assignments that are going to be due. So these are in addition to the reading responses, the discussions, and the speeches. So instead of taking exams, your comprehension analysis of the materials will be shown through projects. So you will choose one option for each of the 2 assignments. Each of the 4 assignments. I don't know why it says 2 assignments. Be aware of the due dates and project requirements. Once you sign this contract, it cannot change. So there are basically 7 different assignments that you could choose to do, and you'll need to do 4 of those. So learning assignment 1 is going to be a blog or a Pinterest board. It's due June 27th. It's 5% of your final grade. So you're going to look at over here. So here's option A, a blog. It's kind of got all the different things that you're going to need on there. And it kind of talks about how I'm going to grade it. So for the blog, you would have 5 blog posts through Blackboard blog tool. You would create your blog entry. It kind of goes through the steps of that. And option B is a Pinterest assignment. So you would create a Pinterest board and write a short reflection paper. And those are the details for that one, right? So you would look at there and you would think, okay, I prefer option B. I want to do the Pinterest board. So you would print this contract out, first of all. Then you're going to write option B. Or I suppose you could possibly be able to manipulate it on here. However you want to do it, you can take photos and attach that. You can print out and scan once you write down. However you want to do that is really fine with me, as long as you can upload it back into that assignment. So you're going to go through there. Learning assignment 2, here are my options. Learning assignment 3, here are my options. Learning assignment 4, you have a choice of a group analysis or one of the ones that you didn't do up here. So either one, however you want to do it. So you're going to read through that, and you're going to look at it, then you sign it and you date it, and you're going to upload it back. If you click this learning contract part right here, it's due Sunday, June 3rd. You're going to click, probably what you'll want to do is just click Browse My Computer and attach a file, which you're going to attach the file back that's signed and submit it to me. And it will kick it to me, and I'll be able to look at it and keep it. So that's something that you're going to want to get on pretty soon, because it's going to be due Sunday, June 3rd. And you get to kind of have a little bit of control over what your assignments are that way. So that's going to be important for you to do as well. Okay, so that's the learning contract. So like I said, get on there and look at that. The last thing I kind of want to address here is just sort of looking at the calendar, or looking at the, you're going to want to look at the week 1 and kind of look at what's going on with week 1. So start working week 1. So one thing you're going to want to do is introduce yourself with Flipgrid. So if you want to kind of see how to work Flipgrid, you'll go down here and click this Flipgrid tutorial, and it will kind of give you a little bit of a video about how to work this. So this is something you will need for this class. Flipgrid is something that you can either download. You can download it onto your phone as an app, which I have done. And it's pretty easy. I cannot figure out how to do this ever. But there it is. You can look at it, enter the Flipgrid code, and you can flip it and just record yourself there if you have a smartphone. If you do not have a smartphone, you can still download it onto your computer, and you can use it that way with some sort of webcam or some sort of camera attachment. So you will need access to that for this course, so this should go along with it. So you'll want to get Flipgrid, figure out how to do it, and then you're going to want to introduce yourself to the course, to your classmates. So click on this, and then it'll take you here. Click again. It will take you to, hello, here we go, class intros. So you'll want to click that, and it won't let me do it right now because I'm using it for this video, but it should allow you to do that with your mic, and you can record yourself. And you want to tell us things like your name, hometown, major, why are you taking it online, an interesting fact about yourself, and what's your biggest fear about taking a speech course. So those are some of the things that you'll want to kind of talk about. So there's introduce yourself. That's going to be due by Thursday at midnight. There will be a syllabus quiz added onto here that will also be due by then. So just make sure you've looked at the syllabus and the learning contract. There will be a PRPSA survey, which is just kind of a quick little survey that measures speech anxiety to see how nervous you are about speaking, and that there's no right or wrong answers. It's just that you've done it. So you'll want to click on that option, fill this out, click submit. You will get a number, like 98 will be your number, and then you will come back here, click on the PRPSA survey, click write submission, type 98, and hit submit. That's all you have to do for that, to submit that assignment. And then your reading response, so your learning contract will also be due, and your reading response will be due by Sunday at midnight, and this is kind of some examples of how to do that, some extra information. You will just click reading response chapter 1, create thread, title your thread my name, and then you can copy and paste from a Word document, or you can type right in there and click submit. So that is how you will submit your reading response. So I hope that has been helpful. I hope that's not overwhelming. It feels like a lot of information. I just kind of want to go through everything from the syllabus, the learning contract, to kind of week 1. And I will be posting some videos to kind of update you on stuff throughout the semester, how to do certain things and reminding you of stuff that's going on. But if you have any questions at all, and the course calendar is attached to the syllabus at the very, very end. So scroll past all the ADA stuff, and the course calendar is in there. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, don't hesitate. Let me know. Just email me, sjblake@carlalbert.edu. Let's get started. Welcome to the course.